EpicLegion is playing a Kothon hero deck. So the idea of this is that it's very much like Elder Dragon Highlander or Commander for Magic the Gathering, where it's a singleton format. You can only play one of any card. But we are doing it where... Yeah, let's make sure that they know. We're doing it where it's a singleton format. You're not allowed to have a hero like in the side or anything, though. Like, you can't quite do the same rules that you are able to do in Magic or anything like that, because those programs actually have it hard-coded in. Instead, what we're doing to make it work is we're having it so they can have 4 copies of one card, and that's their hero. So EpicLegion will have 4 copies of Coffin. CelticGuardian, unfortunately, here, mulliganing down to 6. They're playing a Cameron deck.
Would you like to play a game?
That Inquisitor's Blade looking real good on Coastal Battle Mage. God. There's a lot of Aegis here and a lot of high-powered cards. I mean, Seraph is great, but it's going to be slow against Inquisitor's Blade, especially on a mulligan to 6. For a mull to 6, though, this is a really nice start for CelticGuardian. They had this last time, by the way, which is a really cool little idea. With Cameron meaning that you have to have any unit that deals damage... Why the question mark? Okay. Any unit that deals damage to a player, you can sacrifice to draw a card and make Cameron larger. Well, this means that it automatically hits a player, right? Because it'll come into play and hit, which is sweet. Also, the double damage off of this and the scatter shot is kind of sweet. Still, gonna be a tough battle to win here. Like, this is a really hard race for Celtic. Being down on cards is unfortunate. Do they have another power card or a Cameron? I imagine this might be the Cameron. Slay to stop that. Okay. And then just attack? So they wanted to slay. That's the big thing. Fair. Oh, God, that sharpened reflexes feels so nasty here. That's a rough one. There's nothing you can do about that. Like, I think you've got to take that attack. You can't play around everything, especially in a singleton format. And thinking about a card like Sharpened Reflexes is not easy. But, man, that sucks for Celtic. Because I think they played that pretty well. That was a good line. It just ended up not working out very well. Losing out on that double damage every time is rough, though. Okay. Playing the Emblem of Shavka. Not decimating. So I imagine they might have something pretty expensive they want to get down. And Epic's just going for the flying win.
Take wing, my friend.
And that'll work. Smart move by Epic. Exactly enough damage. Just get rid of the blocker and then just slam in. Rough game for Celtic having a mulligan down. So I'm not sure what this is. Oh. Sorry. I thought that did I hit the wrong person? I hit Arbol. Whoops. That's amazing. Oopsie. In any case, we are now going to watch it from CelticGuardian side, and hopefully they have a little bit better hand this time. This hand looks sweet. Scrap Tank is really cool for what they're trying to do. EpicLegion has I think a pretty significant advantage in this matchup, though, because EpicLegion's deck is just full of Aegis, and more notably, Flyers. Flyers is rough.
Tell me, what do you see?
That Torch Top deck is really nice. Coffin's such a great early game card. I think Epic did a good job of building this deck for sure. So Scavenge will come down, and that'll let Sheriff Marley happen. Ooh. So next turn, if Epic isn't attacking with this, or, I mean, if they play another unit too, it's a good idea for them to attack and lose something, and then Sheriff Marley and just get rid of this thing.
You will suffer for what you have done.
Sure. Oh, and there's Cameron. Okay, so there's a few things. Smart move by Epic. Block the one that doesn't have ability text for when it comes back, in case there's something from the graveyard. I've got to imagine it's on the flyer. Yeah. And now they'll probably take 4 from the Svecha if EpicLegion decides to attack in, because I've got to imagine Sheriff Marley is more important to just stick around. When you have Cameron and you're making tokens and you've got like Scrap Tank, Sheriff Marley's got to be pretty indispensable. Yeah, you can't. That's too scary. There's a reason for that. Ooh, Combust is excellent against the Crow, too. I like that a lot. I don't think you Decimate. Yeah, and Celtic says no as well. Do you Scrap Tank first? Yeah, I think this is correct. It sucks, but I do believe that's correct. And now you just start attacking in with all the units, yeah. You lose an extra rat, but making Cameron larger and drawing the extra cards is important.
Save our homeland.
That Combust was very well timed, yeah. Inquisitive Crow is incredibly scary. It's too bad that this Scrap Tank hasn't been able to come down while all these units are dying, but it didn't have time. Like, it made way more sense to just stop the Crow. That is cool. There's a lot of very neat things going on here for Celtic. Now the question is, do you attack with the 1/1? I might do that. Sharpened Reflex is at the end of turn, I guess? So Celtic just passed. I'd have thought about attacking the Grenadin drone there. Because just growing the Scrap Tank is honestly really good too. Having a 5/5 Scrap Tank for next turn is very useful. Epic really deep in the tank on whether to keep it. And decides yes. Epic's been having a little bit of power trouble this game. And Celtic thankfully had the right removal spells for the Flyers, the Marley and the Combust. Because the Flyers, I think, are the big problem here for Celtic. If Celtic can keep that under control, I think that Celtic can win this game pretty easily. On Cameron. Sure. There's still a lot of threats on Celtic's side is the problem. You can't stop them all. And even just, like, sacrificing to draw cards is really good. Oh, hit for 5. I would just take that. I think? Yeah, alright. Fair enough. I mean, it still grows Scrap Tank. It's not the worst. And now, Kriva.
Leave them alone, and they'll come home.
And both Marley and Kriva can get in, so that's pretty sweet. No Marley? That feels like a mistake. I think you gotta keep the pressure up there. Attacking the Marley makes a lot of sense there. Emblem of Kodosh is kind of nice. CelticGuardian seems like they're in a position where they can decimate now. That is a big old Scrap Tank. I'm liking this game for Celtic. This is starting to look real nasty. Yeah, you do not want to get in with Marley. Victor's Cry. Oh, baby. +5/+5. Alright, well, I mean, that'll do it. I didn't think that there was going to be a way for them to get that, but Victor's Cry is pretty nasty sometimes. Ooh, Immortalize is an incredible card here. Oh my god. Buying back Scrap Tank with Immortalize is really nasty. Holy shit. That's going to be disgusting. Poaching Drake? Sure. I mean, that doesn't do that much here. Oh, Necessary Measures is one that I didn't think about. That's really good in this with having only one unit of any kind, right? It doesn't get your actual commander, but still very good. One Exalted Scrap Tank coming up. Yup. Do you just still swing in with everything? Yeah, okay, apparently yes. That was a very fast answer to my question. I wasn't sure it would be that fast, but fair enough. And you just want to keep using Cameron. +15, +15 weapon on something seems pretty decent at some point. If CelticGuardian can get rid of this permafrost too. Oh, that's scary. EpicLegion in race mode here. Wind Elemental hasn't come down yet, though. And Epic should know that it's there. Like, they decimated to have it happen. So this is going to be rough. Oh, they're just going to kill that. Fair enough. Rather than drawing. Either way, definitely seems pretty good.
Peace is its own reward.
And it's looking bad for Epic, yeah. Epic definitely got a little bit stuck on power there, and that was just not enough gas for Epic to get back into that game. They didn't have the overwhelming flyer advantage they had that first time. Once they started doing it, it was already a little bit too late. That scrap tank as a 15-15 was hard to stop. It is a best of 3, yes. And then if they lose, because they're currently in the winner's bracket, what will happen is they will go down into the loser's bracket, so it's a double elimination tournament. One match loss and you're not out. It'll put you into the loser's bracket and you still have a chance to come back and win. So kind of like fighting game style, right? We actually had that happen with the last tournament we ran like this. Somebody, it was Walladil, I believe, lost in round 1 and then immediately came back, won every single round afterwards, and won the finals and beat the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's a double elimination tournament. It just seems like a fair way to run it, because it's unfortunate when somebody just gets power screwed twice in a row, right? And I mean, it can still happen, but it negates it a little bit. EpicLegion with a decent hand here.
Good night.
Good night. I'm not sure how I feel about this for Epic. Like, it's slow, and I feel like Epic needs to be the aggressor. We saw what happens when CelticGuardian's deck starts going. I think you have to bottom that. You need to get some flyers. It's a really powerful card. It's a really nice card. But you don't need 5s. You need 2-drop flyers. Yeah, there we go. Like, Valkyrie Enforcer's a house. That's going to be amazing. That's the kind of card that you want in this game, though. What was the unit that made the 4/4 the first game? That's Cawthon. That's, in fact, EpicLegion's hero card, right? So they're able to run 4 of that one. Everything else that they have, they can only run 1 of. So they're only allowed 1 copy of every card, except for a hero. Heroes are searchable inside of the actual card database. So CelticGuardians is Cameron the Fox, and EpicLegions is the Cawthon, the one that makes the 4/4 owl with it. Epic just slamming. And then gonna play, yeah, Permafrost and Acquisitive Crow. I was gonna say, I imagine Serene, like Svecha, Orien of Korsul, but Acquisitive Crow and Permafrost also makes a lot of sense. If they're playing the Crow, then Permafrost is definitely what you need to do. I think that the sacrifice will still happen. Celtic just wants to draw cards. They need a way to stop these flyers. Yeah. Crow is something... It's such a card... Crow's a card that if you let it stick around for 1 or 2 turns, you just automatically lose the game. It's absolutely insane. So, it's a good thing that Celtic has actually had the removal for it both of these times. I like Stone Powder Alchemist too with Cameron, is always cute. Just immediately get to draw the card. Celtic unable to play any spells if they have them. And taking a lot of damage. They need to have, like... They can't have Slay anymore, but, like, Desecrate. Vanquisher's Blade will do a thing. It's unfortunate they have to put it on Cameron, but it does get rid of that. There are color identity limitations exactly like EDH, yes. I mean, you just slam Poaching Drake. As we said before, like, the whole thing that makes EpicLegion's deck have an advantage over this is those flyers are just devastating. It's a really timely revenge for Celtic. If Celtic can find some flyers, or, like, a Marley to put one of these back on the ground, maybe some lifesteal, like, there's a few ways they can get out of it. But it's going to be tough. Yeah, it also gets rid of the Blade because of Voidbound. That's true. Yeah, it gets rid of Inquisitor's Blade because it can't come back. Calling Matron's an excellent card here. That's perfect. Problem is, EpicLegion has Reinvigorate, so they can just slam in. God, that top deck market too. Oof. Immediate Edict? Oh, yeah, who cares about Reinvigorate? Just Edict. If they could keep both of these cards, if they could keep Edict and Reinvigorate, they'd win this turn, right? Like, that's lethal. That's such a sick top deck. I mean, it would have ended up badly for Celtic anyways, because I think Celtic is forced to block, and Reinvigorate will just do enough, but not getting the block at all really sucks. So Celtic is just basically on the question of, do you have a Harsh Rule? And considering the weight here, I'm gonna say no. So that's gonna look like a probable death for Celtic. I mean, it's a brave attempt, but it doesn't do anything. Good try. Sadly, the 2 damage comes in first, and I don't think it matters anyways, because with 2 power left, like, they're not gonna be able to stop that. Well played by Celtic, though. A tough matchup. All those flyers are really, really rude. That's a tough one for Celtic for sure. EpicLegion, I think, did a really good job of building their deck. Just so many flyers and so many Aegis units that it's hard for the decks to have enough answers to that. And it doesn't seem like anybody else is playing that same saturation of those 2 combinations, right? In any case, well played by both players. That was a really tight match. Some bad luck on both sides, like the mull to 6, but then Epic getting stuck on 4 was kind of rough too. So it was kind of evened out. Pretty solid matchup for sure. Like, it was really, really close. We're going to report this with an win for EpicLegion. And CelticGuardian still has a chance. They're in the losers bracket, so they can still just win through another 4 rounds, and they'll be in the grand finals. But Epic is going on to the semis now. Beardbroken and Halba are our next players. They'll be doing theirs on Wednesday. They've already got it scheduled inside of a list that we have internally. And you can always check out in the Discord to, if you want to see the bracket, if you want to know the full rules, everything like that, all the links to the bracket and the challenge and, like, when the schedule is, then you can check it out there. You don't have to be a sub, and you can also sign up for the next one. So we're good.